Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. We're doing chapter 15, Turning Point, and now the puppy finally laid down. So maybe this one I won't have to be doing like this the entire time. So let's just jump right in. We only got 4 left, including this one, so let's get it done. 6 months of killings, torturing, and experimenting have brought the O'Connors closer than ever before, and they feel indomitable strength in this newfound union. Heading into the basement of the hospital, they see a patient named Rose, who is brought in by her family. They claim she's losing her mind to Alzheimer's and that they won't be able to take care of her. The family urges the doctors to take her on as a patient or subject, and they are willing to sign over all responsibility to the hospital. They know what happens there and only want their mother to have an easy way out rather than losing her mind and not recognizing anyone. But despite taking Rose in as a patient, the doctors believe the family simply didn't want to deal with their elderly mother. Several tests indicate no signs of any medical or mental illness or condition that would be cause for treatment. Rose stands by the door, knowing the doctors are right there. They usually stop by every day to see their patients, and she's usually one of the first ones. Looking straight at the doctors, she notices that they have a clipboard and needles in their hands. They usually come with empty hands. They never come with the best intentions. "What are you planning to do to me?" Rose asks. "Rose, given your age, we haven't put you through any of the usual trials, but with that logic in mind, you need to understand that even though you're not a bother to us, you are taking up too much of our time, energy, and medication that could be used on someone else," Katie answers as Rose starts choking up. Oh my, the Lord is finally coming to get me. Just wish my children would come to see me before I go, a teary-eyed Rose says. "I'm sorry, Rose. We tried contacting them, but they haven't been responding to our messages all week." "Well, your granddaughter picked up once and said that no one has time to visit and thought the deed was already done. They aren't coming. Again, Rose. I'm so sorry," Sean replies. Sobbing, Rose sits on the edge of the bed, knowing that she had done everything she could for the family. She's hurt at being pushed aside with such disregard. Despite the fact their behavior was always less than ideal, even rotten sometimes, she still hadn't anticipated this type of behavior from her own family and certainly never expected this kind of end. Sean feels badly for her. His parents were horrible and did everything in their power to make sure he was miserable every day. He was an only child who was treated as a mistake and whose parents repeatedly told him he should have been aborted. Even when he became a doctor, his parents ignored his accomplishments. They didn't go to his graduation, never called or sent a card or text. They didn't even attend his wedding or offer any explanation as to their absence, raising all sorts of questions from Katie's side of the family. There was no doubt in his mind that they would be among Sean's first patients to put down. But right here, right now, his usual feelings aren't there. He doesn't have the heart to kill a heartbroken old woman whose family has abandoned her and is wanting to hear of her demise. "Okay, I'm ready, Dr. Sean. Please make sure to tell them I'm alive and doing well on a weekly basis. And if they should ever break down and decide to come visit me, you can tell them the truth then. Let them know that despite all their hatred towards me, I still love them. They will always be my babies. It's true. I love them with all of my heart. Please do that for me," Rose says as she lies down to get comfortable. "It will be my pleasure to do so. I wish you could feel appreciated before you go. You're by far my favorite patient," Sean replies as he gives her a kiss on the forehead. "Oh, baby, you have no idea how wonderful you are. I see the pain in your eyes and need you to know it will get better for you as well. The work that you two are doing here is crucial for the future, and the torture, murder, and everything else is part of the duty you have. So you rest easy knowing that I'm okay with how it's going to end for me. And you should be as well," Rose says, looking Sean straight in the eyes. Standing there silently as Sean has his bonding moment, Katie prepares the needles. Sean is surprised at how emotionless his wife is after hearing everything that's going on with Rose and her family. Not one tear is formed in her cold blue eyes. As Katie stands ready to inject the needle into her arm, Rose appears to be welcoming it. Accepting that she's had a good life and there's nothing left to fight for, suddenly Sean jumps in and takes the needle out of his wife's hands. "What are you doing?" Katie asks. "Nothing. I just think I should do it because she deserves to have someone who cares about her looking into her eyes instead of seeing the cold, unfeeling stare of your blue eyes," Sean answers as Katie just shrugs in agreement. Kissing the 92-year-old woman on the forehead, Sean injects her in the neck and holds her as she starts to close her eyes. A smile takes over her face as Sean whispers in her ear that she's loved by many people and that she should know that. She tries to speak but can't form the words. "I know it's okay. You're okay. Safe travels," Sean says as Rose takes her final breath. "What was that, Sean?" Katie asks as a confused Sean looks on. "What are you talking about?" Sean asks in return. "Those emotions. Where did all that come from?" Katie asks. "You know, I have a soft spot for kind elderly folks, despite my parents being such terrible people. There's nothing more I would love to do than provide a place for them where they could be safe and happy. Then again, just because they're nice to me doesn't mean they were good parents. I had awful parents who were horrific people, and my grandparents were equally bad parents, but good to other people. I'm aware it comes in many forms, but Rose is good to me," Sean answers. Looking at the lifeless body, Sean doesn't want to keep going back and forth with Katie. They need to clear the room and get Rose's body to the funeral home. With Rose on the gurney, Katie sits on the bed for a second and checks her phone to see how Cassandra and the other patients are doing. They've acquired new patients since everyone else on the floor was killed by the gas when Tiny made his escape, but they've barely gotten to know any of them, as they have Rose and Cassandra. Sean knows it's not easy for his wife to express her emotions, but hopes that the fact she cares so much about Cassandra might indicate that there's a remnant of something wonderful inside her besides a cold-hearted killing machine. In the event she cannot, though, he's ready to love her just the way she is. They've made it this far already, and there's no end in sight for how far they can go. After they push Rose out of the room, Katie walks over to look at Cassandra. She hasn't been the same since her encounter with Tiny. Honestly, who could blame her? He was so massive and intimidating, and she fears what may have happened when they were alone for so long while she was unconscious. He did basically save her, though. In attempting to put her mind at ease, they have shown her the surveillance video of that day demonstrating how he protected her. Still, she worries that he raped or took advantage of her. Add to that, the fact that there are monsters in these rooms with her is alarming in and of itself, and she has never expected to come face to face with any of them. Upon seeing Katie, Cassandra gets excited with anticipation that she can get out of the room and experience life on the outside soon. For Katie, the feeling is mutual, as the day that Tiny got out was the hardest day of her life. Seeing Cassandra come face to face with him was painful. She hasn't shared this with anyone, even Sean, because she doesn't want to mar her image. With these thoughts in mind, she puts her face to the window and mouths to Cassandra that everything will change soon and that once she's out, she'll be out for good. This brings a smile to the girl's face and fills her up with hope of freedom. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 15. Next is chapter 16, Deception. 3 to go, people. 3 to go. All right, we're coming down to it. It will be done this week, okay? So, until next time, please remember, like, share, subscribe. It helps a ton. And the next book that we will be doing, I have it here, just came out. It's called The Masseuse. Okay, that's what we'll be doing. It's a continuation of this one. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't know if we're going to be doing this one next. I think the author has me wanting to do another. Just remembered. I'll figure it out. You guys will, of course, be the first to know. Duh. Like, share, subscribe, guys. Comment down below. See ya.